friends already joining me. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope that the Reddit is live as well. So I'll say indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you so much for joining me here again. For being something. For being everything instead of nothing. That's today's topic. Joy V. What do you think about that? Why everything instead of nothing? You know, and I want us to really think about that question because it's one that we have asked ourselves as humanity probably for as long as we've had the ability to ask questions in the first place. But maybe we can come up with some sort of conclusive, yes, this why everything instead of nothing. Maybe not. Maybe we'll walk away knowing less. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm back in a second. I'm gonna get some water, some bags. Oh. Bless you. God bless you. Here we go. Back. And in this moment, something instead of nothing. Huh? Like, can you even really think about nothing? Is it even possible for us to contemplate nothing? Like, really? You know, on some philosophical level. Is it possible? I feel like the closest I've ever been to nothing was in a float tank. You know, where all of your senses basically get removed by choice. You plug your ears, and then you go into a dark tank, and you float in body temperature water, laden with salt, making you feel weightless. And you do smell, but you keep your mouth closed as to not taste anything, fortunately. And even in that like nothingness, within that lack of senses, within that lack of experiences, there still is everything. There still is something, you know? There still very much is the same something that you are right now. You know, the something that is appreciating, experiencing you right now. And, you know, like for me at least in my personal experience, I have basically consolidated, come to the conclusion of that version of you, that something instead of nothing, that is in the center of the nothing, that is the something, is the everything, is the nothing and the something. And you are that. You, friend, you, dear friend, are that. Every single one of us are. The fact that we can communicate to one another is the part that trips us out. We can say more of the everything. Even Gateway is joining us as well. So nice to have you here, dear friend. Those faces melt. I'm happy you like that. Hello, fancy finding you here. Fancy having you here too, Jovan. Man, I feel good. I feel good. Second day of my. I mean, oh, second day of my fast is going pretty well. I had like a bunch of growlies. My stomach was like, "Hey fam, how about you do that thing where you eat food?" last night, and I was like, "No, no, chillax yourself." And today I'm feeling a little bit better. Usually, day two is my hardest day, you know, and after day two, I kind of transitioned back into just switching over to ketones, if you will. You know, it's no longer that difficult, but today's day two has been pretty easy. all things considered. I'm worried about tomorrow. Thinking about what Melita said as well about slow-mo dancing. Maybe we'll slow-mo dance tomorrow. Maybe that's exactly what is going to be expected of us. Suddenly, I know nothing again. Nice. Thank you, universe, for the constant reminder. It's the God the Goo joining us too. Love to you. How are you doing, brother Bear? It's nice to have you here, man. Dude, I'm gonna 100% join you on the, like, at most probably weekly schedule after a pocket sober, dude. I can just kind of feel it coming at this point. Is that a piece of resin? What is this? Yeah, it is. Sicketh. I accept the gift, little grinder. I accept thine gift. How are you feeling, Gob? How are you friends feeling? Like, this is a question to every single one of you, and I would love if I could get some of an answer. And of course, there's no expectation, but can you tell me why there's something instead of nothing? Like, really tell me, please. Like, I want to know. Why is there something? Why is there this within everything? You know, and it's so well made, you know, to say it in so many words. Like, it makes sense. Maybe it only makes sense because I've been born in this world. You know, maybe if I just got downloaded into this body, I'd be like, the fuck is happening right now? You know, nothing would make sense. But because I grew up in this world, things make sense in the context that they've made sense in before. They're something within nothing because I've seen something like that before. Is that why there's something instead of nothing? I am goobiful. I'm happy to hear that, dude. The goobiest. Goobiful. So I'm interpreting it as beautiful, but the goob version of beauty, right? The goob standard of beauty instead of the world standard of beauty. But then the other fractal that my mind wants to go into is just that you're full of goo. and in the context of what we are, yes, yes, in fact, you are goobiful. Does your fam freak out when you fast too? Mine seems to think that any health concerns afterwards because of my fast, no matter how much time has passed. No. Fortunately, in the Christian community, at least in the South African Christian community, like our churches will also have like these events, you know, where people pray over a weekend, you know, and they don't eat food, and it's like a whole thing. So fortunately, my family knows that fasting has health benefits. They usually are just curious about how long I'm gonna do it for. And me too. I am also curious as to how long I'm gonna do it for. I'm gonna see. I'm feeling good as of late, you know. Right now, I feel like I'm capable of continuing. But the thing with fasting is, you know, and I jokingly talked about it a little bit yesterday, is that the ego part of yourself, the part of yourself that talks, cashes checks that you writes checks that you have to cash. And then as you cash these checks, it's gonna tell you nonsense about that. It's gonna cash more checks. You know, it's gonna be like, oh, this skibbity bobbity, this skibbity boo. And I'm like, this is what you wanted, didn't you? You were like, yeah, we're gonna fast for a whole week. And now you're complaining. Oh, it's been 5 days of not eating food. It would be nice, but yeah. Morning to you. Even the gay Frana is joining us saying, I was just thinking about how things make sense in our world because the things in the world are our exposure, as in they make sense because we've been exposed to them. My mind was falling down a rabbit hole of what would make sense in a different dimension that wouldn't here, and vice versa. You see, now that's the type of questions we like asking. Yeah. Okay, Anna, it's a good question. You know, something that I feel would make sense in other dimensions that doesn't necessarily make sense here is non-separation. You know, and this is something that you, in a very tangible and visceral and palpable even way. You get to notice within certain psychedelic experiences. For instance, if you smoke DMT, you get faced with a reality that is constructed out of itself, constructing into itself, collapsing into itself, arising out of itself. You know, it's like a, but it's all of it is the same thing. Even the entities coming out of that energy and then going back into that energy and not being perturbed by the flux, you know, of being something else, if you will, like literally being something else. Imagine if you could just from one moment to another use your biological building blocks to metamorphosize into like a gray alien with large eyes and long limbs, and then you metamorphosize into, you know, a tentacly alien, and then you metamorphosize into a human, and then you into this thing and into that thing, but you're using the same biological parts. That would be very odd. You know, it wouldn't be something that we've been exposed to, if you will. And seeing someone do that, you would lose your mind. And yet, within those psychedelic experiences, within those different dimensions, you watch it happening in front of your eyes, inside of your eyes, however you want to interpret. And yet, it doesn't feel odd. You're like, yeah, that checks out. It makes complete sense. I remember now, even. And none of that makes sense. Not really, not in this dimension, you know? And yet, it is that way. It just takes a lot more time. That the same stuff I am made up of will eventually become a part of this earth, will eventually make up something else, a plant, insect, another organism, maybe millions of years down the line, another sentient observer, you know, that believes itself to be an I consciousness, made of the same atoms, or at least in part of the same atoms that I am made up of right now. You know, literally being a different variation, different transformation of the same thing, but being different, right? And then you can be like, yeah, it's completely different things. Look, they're separated by millions of years, and yet, are they different things, or are they just something instead of nothing? Are you the something instead of nothing? I believe so. Miss Molly is joining us as well, saying a good day. Before fasting, I am on day 3. What are the odds? Finally able to eat soft foods after days of not being able to eat. Hydrating, medications through an IV sucks. My energy is all right and on the rise. I'm very grateful for everyone here. Miss Molly, dear friend, I wish I could make it easier. I wish I could, you know, stand in for you. Wish I could just take away some of the suffering. And yet, the fact that you're still being such a loving being, regardless of the suffering, regardless of the difficulty you're facing, you're an inspiration, dear friend. You, Miss Molly, are inspiration. We love you so dearly. Thank you for joining us as well. Even Maxine joining us as well. I see you, friend. So much love to you. You still sleepy? Gab is here as well, I see. Maybe you just woke up. There is something, cause I am. That seems like too many words. I think there is something. You know, it's like beyond the I am. The I am is as soon as that it's something that is tries to articulate its beingness. You know? Before that it just is. It's just like, huh. And then it's like it almost like has a moment of reflection. Literally going from just being the observer, the I, the infinite hole within which information can flow through, to observing, and then cook, it collapses. As soon as you observe yourself, you're reflecting that circle into another circle, and two circles reflecting onto one another becomes the infinity. So maybe something instead of nothing, because of reflection instead of I am. I'm on that go. Thank you for prompting the mind. Love from Jovan to everyone. It's a windy day in South Africa. It is. Gateway process. It's August. Usually we get like these winds in August as the temperature shifts start to happen. It's pretty yassi bobassi. Don't know if I'll be able to light my bong hit, but it is what it is. Ducks. Love you, duckers. I'm like unironically looking for ducks in my environment. Love you, you duck. Too. Thank you for the love, gobbledygook. Already, good morning. Life is not easy. I will not allow anyone to take my place. No. No, 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 no. No, Miss Molly. Nobody takes your place. It's always you. Sense. Yeah, I understood. I understood completely. Thank you, Kayana. Where is my brain this morning? Here. Your brain is something instead of nothing. Maybe it's tuning more into the nothing than the something right now, Kayana. And that's completely okay. We get to breathe right now. For you, it's the start of your day, basically. So, at the start of another day, you get to breathe right now. You get to listen to whatever sounds happen to be in your environment. Smelling, you get to detect any of the micromolecules that are floating in the air around you. Being held down by gravity, you can either feel your feet or your legs, your entire body, plus your back if you're laying down, pressing down on the earth. So much to be experienced. It's a miracle that we get to do anything. Never mind spell. Okay, Anna. I fucking love you, quacks. I love you so much. You friends. Sending you love, Molly. Thank you so much for that. Beloved Shannon. We've been sending you a lot of love, Molly. We're sending you so much love. Know that you'll never be gone. You'll always be right here with us. I wish I was outside. You are outside. Look at that. You know, it might be a small little window through which you're peering outside. But you're outside. All the way here in South Africa. With me. You know, because I am as the eye consciousness, getting to experience what it's like being outside. Having the wind blow over me. Kind of coldish, you know. So within the infinite spectrum of things that could be felt, me, within the same infinite spectrum that you're experiencing, am experiencing the outside. So all you have to do at this point is just be like, I'm seeing spears, like a weird spear, like it had like a fork, and then it had like a blade coming out like that, and then it had a big ass staff attached to it as well. True. I know you would. Gateway process. If I said that to anyone else, they were like, "The fuck you? What are you on about?" I want to go outside too instead of must work. must work. Like outside, if I say I want to go outside, you know, and this is now maybe something for us all to do within mind. Imagining going outside, I see this beautiful, you know, mountain range with like a body of water in the center of it, you know, the sun gently setting over the mountain range, and just these beautiful oranges and reds permeating the sky, transitioning into like a purplish blue as it goes behind. Just being able to stare out in nature. Yeah, all of us there right now instead of being wherever it is you are. Right? At least for a moment, within mind. Because that is what it is. You are within mind right now. That something is you within mind. Sup, homies? Mariah is joining us as well. We have a conundrum, Mariah. I want to light my bong, but I don't know if the wind is going to allow me to. We have Lynn joining us as well. It's nice to see you, friend. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? How's life been treating you? Why is there everything instead of nothing? I'm cranking the craziness in your cranium. Okay, I'm caffeinated. Me too. I'm also caffeinated. And that's the one thing that I've been giving myself pats on the back for, is the fact that the only things that I'm consuming is water and black bean juice. Well, technically it's red bean juice. Very dark red bean juice. And I get to sit down and drink my coffee, and I'm like, Today's coffee, every single sip I took, Shabbat, I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me that dopamine, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness, there, sipping my hot hazelnut coffee. I only get to have, I'll get to have, is relative. I get to have a single coffee a day. And I do make it pretty strong. then I take a cold shower after having my strong black coffee, and then it really works. It's almost like dopamine. It's like genuine euphoric sense of yeah, yeah, you got this. Susie, guys, I have been running a 5K every other day. A huge goal of mine for such a long time. I feel amazing. You are amazing, Susie. It's so amazing to hear that, friend. Keep going. Keep showing up for the things that you love doing. Coffee is the best part of my morning. Gives you dopamine, takes up a bunch of those adenosine little receptors, making you a little bit more hyper, having a stimulating effect on your neurons, shooting all of those signals, feeling all wired up, feeling all quick. It's quite an experience. Life is good, a little crazy. No coffee here. Lynn, no coffee from the perspective of not wanting to drink coffee anymore, not having coffee, or having had coffee at one point and then deciding to stop. Curious, actually. I was having such an intense dream last night. I kept feeling like I had something in my throat and trying to spit it out. And then I looked in the mirror. I saw a white cobra in the back of my throat with its hood open, staring at me. That's quite something, huh, Maxine? A white cobra specifically as well. I feel like there's so much symbolism in that. I wouldn't be surprised if you already went finding out, but I don't know what that means. White cobra at the back of your throat, making it feel like you can't speak or can't breathe. And then upon looking in the mirror, you get to see it. Like, the closest thing that I can think of is that there is something inside of you, a white cobra that wants to come out, needs to be seen, needs to be heard, maybe. Maybe there's something you haven't been saying, something you wanted to say, but that feels like it might be a cobra to someone else. So many cool things to interpret there. What do you think, Maxine? What does that something instead of nothing mean to you? I can't drink it, Mel. I love it, but it makes me a shaky mess. Naturally caffeinated, I guess. I feel that. Maybe, like, I don't know if you know, but decaffeinated coffee technically has a little bit of caffeine in it as well. Like maximum 3% of the original dosage. So the fact that you don't need caffeine, I mean, most people would probably be like, yeah, sign me up. Sign me up for no caffeine, please. I haven't looked it up yet, but it was powerful. I'm wondering if there's something wrong with my throat chakra. White is not a bad color to have in your throat, though, right? Like, the color white is everything. It's the spectrum of fullness. It has every single frequency of light within it. This white cobra for some reason has like black spots. Would have black eyes probably. I don't know. Even decaf. Look at that. Yeah, that's interesting, friend. I was like thinking about that. I was wondering if decaf would affect you as well, or if you'd be able to drink it and it wouldn't affect you that badly, or it might actually be the perfect dosage. Melina! I see it. Dream symbolism is usually individual, though. Yeah, I can definitely believe that. That's why I gave a bunch of interpretations from my side, not stating that that's the way it is, and then directly asking, our beloved Maxine what she thought about it, because that's what it is at the end of the day. Hey, there she is. Sometimes I'm dope, sometimes I'm just more dopamine. Exactly. I'm feeling pretty dopamine today. Still fasting, that is. Thanks, guys. I went through major health struggles a few years ago, and I've dreamt about running then. Susie, you have manifested this version of yourself. We see you, we praise you for that. It makes me happy to know that in your day-to-day life, the something you're experiencing is better than you wanting to experience nothing, And I viscerally remember at one point in my existence wanting nothing instead of everything, and showing up for ourselves like that, to be able to do what you're doing right now, makes the everything more delicious than the nothing, right? It makes me so happy to know that you're there, friend. Sending you so much love. Stay there. Stay in the love. So proud of you, right? So proud of you. Meow. White Cobra means new positive beginnings. There we go. Susie interprets it as new positive beginnings. Decaf coffee still has traces of caffeine. It does. It really does. Susie sharing the excitement with you over the runs. I always hated running, but overcoming the challenge of our own minds. It's so rewarding. Yes, to show yourself that all of these stories, oh, I can't do it. Oh, I'm too weak. Oh, I'm not the type of person who does these things. And then to be like, no, actually, actually, yes, I can. Thank you, Susie. Thank you. Susie, you have so many friends, sending you love, appreciating your encouragement of that, side of the infinity. Agreed. Every time I see a white animal in my dreams, it's life changing. It didn't give me the attack vibe. Just looking and aware, I know snake represents transformation. So transformation and it being a white snake, so maybe it's a transformation into something new. We even had one of the new beginnings cards pulled a while ago. Rambler, joining us as a funky fractal himself. Love to you, dude. It's nice to have you. Will you allow me to look into this today? Smudge early evening. I don't know what that means. Smudge like saging. Lucky you. I wish decaf affected me, right? For me, like I really like caffeine, but I drink it in moderation so that I can continue enjoying it. Right, drink 1 cup a day so that that cup a day that I drink really does its job. Thank you, Susie. It's not good. I almost fainted the last time I tried to drink it. Almost fainted drinking decaf coffee. Goodness. Mel, do you have a spirit animal? I do. The butterfly is my spirit animal. The butterfly is my spirit animal, and then my inner beast is the tiger or the lion. The part of myself that can be beastly is more lioness, like a butterfly in its beast form. It's not that intimidating, unless it's the size of a skyscraper and eats you with its feet. Is that how it works? Butterfly stays with their feet, right? They can't eat you with them. But that sounds terrifying. And a creature that eats you with its feet. No, please. I'm actually getting goosebumps. My mind is like, yeah? You want to see that? Then it's like, here, please stop. Nobody needs to see that. Thank you for asking. What is your spirit animal actually then? Absolutely. I'll be reaching as well. Let me know what you find. Ooh, girl. Dude, caffeine. Like for me, if I drink caffeine later in my day, I will have a hard time sleeping. But it doesn't affect me to the point where I get anxious. Or I might get anxious, but then I'll notice that I'm getting anxious. And then upon noticing it, I'll stop being anxious. Almost like a mind game. Hey, Daniel is joining us as well. It's nice to have you here, dude. Sending you good vibes, man. See you soon again. What language do you dream and melt? English, weirdly enough, to review. Yeah, I dream in English. Like, English technically is my primary language at this point. If you think about how much time we spend actually conversing in our language, and how much time I've been spending conversing in English, especially with these streams. At this point, I believe Afrikaans has officially become my second language. Like I sometimes surprise myself hearing myself speaking Afrikaans as an observer, right? Like listening to my own, like a recording of something, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. Hey everyone, had some free time and noticed it was around that time, and here we are, Daniel, in this moment. Like we've never been anywhere else, dude. Sure, days have passed, weeks have passed, months have passed, and yet now, right now, this everything instead of nothing. See you, dudes. Loving, so nice to have you here. Loving you, brother bear. How you doing, man? Speaking of spirit animals, I'm waiting for my spirit animal deck so I can do readings for anyone curious as to their guides, as to who their guides are. That's interesting. The very first spirit animal deck cards that I pulled, the card that was pulled for me was the butterfly, and the card that I pulled again for someone else, like it was a whole trip in that day as well, but it was a horse, and I've had a genuine awe, even when I was a little kid, for horses. My grandma had this fence just over the road from her apartment that had like this large encapsulated little piece of land, and there were always horses there. And me as a little kid, I would walk up to the wire with like a bunch full of grass or like flowers or something, and then the horses would come up to the wire and eat it out of my hands. And the amount of fascination and appreciation I had for those creatures. Wind is blowing hard. Yeah, I'm so sorry, friend. The audio is gonna get better. It's gonna get better. I believe next time, like next year, this time, we're going to have had most of our problems solved. Most of the things we think we want will be had. And I'm looking forward to it. Especially for the fact that the fractal of next year this time is just going to be like crystal clear audio. You know, just like liquid gold flowing into your being. Maybe I'll even have the extra microphone I'll have put on a tree somewhere. We can hear the birds chirping in as well. It's okay. I just get the urge to point out the obvious. Yeah, and like it irks me. I don't have any more fingers left. It irks me that much, friend. But there's only that much we can do. It's interesting that spirit animals can be insects too. If there was a spirit animal or an insect that I would resonate with as a spirit animal, I mean, technically a butterfly is, but the other one would be the praying mantis. I've had a deep fascination as a child with praying mantises as well. The only creature, that was the first insect that I didn't want to kill, weirdly enough, as a child. Where other insects, you know, flies and mosquitoes and cockroaches and beetles, those would get stepped on by little kid Mel. But the praying mantises I would always pick up and observe, because I would see them observing me. Like that was the one thing. Like other insects would observe you and then try to run away from you. Praying mantises would be like, "What the fuck are you, dude?" And that, like, just seeing the little consciousness in that creature, I couldn't kill them. Now I've tried to realize that consciousness is in all creatures, but I definitely feel like the praying mantis is also one of my spirit guides in that case. Was that a cow mooing? Maybe. Probably not. Maybe. Probably. Like, that was a cow mooing though. I don't think it's ours. Is it cause they bite off their mate's head after coitus? Like, that is another one of those things that are like a little bit concerning. But fortunately, I've never had to date any of the praying mantises that I say. You know, no risk of getting eaten. Like, that's such a bad joke, but yes, it's done. I've told it. Man, this wind is like actually cutting through my bones right now. You see the goosebumps? It's cutting through my bones. I'm gonna smoke some marijuanas to heat up a little bit, to be the everything instead of the nothing, to feel all of the warmth instead of none of it. This is not making it easy for me. Oh, that's better. It's like a little bit of windshield here. Oh man, I have a chokehold that I have to close as well. This is why I need 4 arms. Yes, this exact reason, so that I can windshield and light my bong at the same time. Only practical reason to have 4 arms. Come on. I'm getting Yasi Bombasi. Yeah. You need a little torch? I need nothing. Because we already have everything, Daniel. We have everything. We literally have everything, dude. Like, that's today's stream topic. And I know I'm being ridiculous, but that's what I believe. That we have everything. The fact that there is not nothing means that there's everything. Little torch lighters as well. You know, just 1,000 years ago, maybe a little bit more than that. Yeah, just 1,000. Yeah, let's just say just 1,000 years ago, making fire with this little device, it would have been inconceivable. The fact that I have a little bit of this everything already, get to be grateful instead. That you love Red the Bear. Oh Lord, trying to smoke in that wind, and we did it. I'm super blazed now. Yeah, sick of wind can't stop us from blazing up. I think I'm missing a few on the Reddit. I didn't. You see, I missed a bunch. There we go. Curious. There's Granted, I was busy. It was in a busy mall on Christmas Eve. But yeah, my heart started racing. Cold sweat. Hearing went out. No more coffee. Yeah, goodness. It sounds like you were being spiked by like actual drugs. You know, I just imagine seeing Lindsay collapse in the middle of a mall, and people are like, "Oh no, what happened? You know, she must have ingested poison." Nope, she just had some decaf coffee. It was like people looking at each other, extreme concern. Lynn, I'm happy that you know at least. You know, some people do things to themselves over and over again, having the worst effects, not realizing that they're doing it to themselves. I used to love horses, child, as well. Then I took care of some mini horses when I was 30, got kicked by one, and no longer liked horses. Yeah, that'll definitely put a sour taste in your mouth. You know, it's like getting bitten by your dog as you're feeding them, for example. Like instantly, there's just this part of yourself that's like, how fucking dare you? If I can brush your hair, feed you the delicious foods, and now you kick me? Asshole! Absolute asshole! We get touched! I don't blame you at all, Maxine. Fortunately, they were always on the other side of the fence for me. They never had the opportunity to kick. I like. I look. I. LYK. I'll let you know as soon as I get them. Thank you for that, Maxine. A jumping spider is actually one of my spirit animals. So honored to have such a sacred creature helping me. They're adorable and extremely intelligent. Not only that, I'm not saying not only that to make what you're saying less. Of course not, Maxine. But just iterating on this fractal, I love them so much as well. Some species have like lenses, you know, like legit lenses in their faces, with which they can zoom in, with which their vision, at least their center vision, is significantly punched in. And if you see a little jumping spider orienting it towards you, and you can see its little face, it 100% is looking at your eyes. It's looking at your eyes. It's seeing where you're looking so that it can determine whether or not you're a threat to it. You know? And eyes are the way that we determine, like, we have forward facing eyes, which means that we are predators. You know, creatures with forward facing eyes hunt things in a. So that little spotter literally looks at you and is like, looks you in the eyes. You're making eye contact with a spider. You know, two consciousnesses, the same consciousness, staring into each other's eyes with completely different frames of reference. You know, like I have 8 limbs, and I have this sac in my ass that produces this goo that I can pull out in thin strands, and then I can wrap my victims in these thin strands. What do you do for food? I kill things with a stick that shoots smaller sticks. It's like, what? You know, like there's a whole book that actually went into the exploration of if spiders evolved to be the intelligent species on the planet, how a different society, you know, like the evolution of a species in the context of social dynamics, in the context of child rearing, all of these different, you know, infinities to explore. Human beings are so creative, and yet we cannot even imagine how creative the universe is. How much of the everything there is instead of there being nothing. You know, how is it even possible to conceive that there are no aliens? An arachnoid species somewhere in the infinity. How crazy would they be? There's this whole theory, you know, and me and my friend group have jokingly talked about it as well, that there is this galactic arachnid that like spins these webs that basically hold all of the infinite multiverses together like little dewdrops on its web. Some of your friends might have seen something similar. It's quite surreal. Spiders, they are actually the apex predator on our planet as well. They consume the most biomass out of any being as a species on this planet. Spiders are gangsters, straight badasses. I have a spirit animal. It's a wolf. Lynn, it's crazy you join me and say that specifically. I have a friend who I love so much, and I've sent him like 12 messages in a sequence, like over the last 5 months or something, and he just doesn't reply. But his spirit animal is also the wolf. And I was sending him messages again today, and my messages didn't go through, and I have what I thought was his girlfriend number on my phone as well. And then today she posted a status where she has like her leg, I don't know if it was over, but close enough to look like there's a romantic relationship, and I was like, oh, I guess my friend and this girl aren't together anymore. And then I sent him a message, and then the message didn't go through at all. So I don't know if his phone is off. I can't imagine his phone being off on a Tuesday. I'm sending my homie love. Thank you for reminding me of him again. Beloved Lynn, the spirit animal of the wolf. I remember as a kid being fearless and picking up mantises with no problem. And then I grew into an adult and I can't get near them. Really? That's so interesting, Maxine. Why? Like, to me, the only insects that irk me are the ones with mandibles and a visceral want to fuck you up, like some animals just, or some like little insects just have that demeanor about them. They're just like but mantises have like a very visceral, like zenness to them. Like it's almost like they misperceive, or they understand that they're God as well or something, because like I have picked up multiple mantises, and some of them are like there's a very big spectrum within that as well, where some of them are like really like badasses, where you pick them up and they just like stare back at you, like they stand their ground on your hand looking into your eyes, and as you move, like you'll see their little heads move as well. You'll see like there's definitely something present in that little being observing you, observing it. And then you can take it outside, and some of them will try and run away from you, but then you can just like kind of do that as well. And they have wings as well, so they can fly if they wanted to. Such crazy little creatures. But the mandibles they have are very very small in comparison to some other creatures, where the mandibles are like head sized. Theirs tapers down at least. They do have mandibles, but they rarely use them, at least for humans. I'm diving too deep into this. I'm trying to logic you out of your fear of praying mantises. I'm like, oh, they're fine. Like I'm just imagining us like in a rendered reality, me trying to sell mantises to you. But because we're in a rendered reality, we just render the mantises to the same scale as human beings, So this mantis is like staring you straight in the eyes. It has a head the size of your torso, it has these bio limbs with these freaking genetic blades that come out of it, hyper sharpened, that keep sharpening itself, biologically. And you're just like, you're trying to convince me to be okay with that, Mel. Are you insane? What's wrong with you? They're so cool though. They're so freaking cool. Like I've seen praying mantises eating mouses. Mice? Yeah, excuse me. Bro, I was just talking about English being my first language, and I'm like mouses. Yeah, they eat mouses too. Even the mice. It's crazy. Imagine that, an insect eating a mammal, and yet they do that shit too. Just strike down with the force of God with those. What do you call those things? sights, claws. Probably someone that knows. When you finish a lighter, take the flint and the spring out of the lighter, wrap the flint in the spin and heat the flint till it's red hot and throw it. It will spark like crazy. That sounds pretty cool, Daniel. But I have refillable lighters, and I have like a little bottle of flints. So I replace the flints in my little striker as well, on top of replacing the gas in the lighter, so I don't have to buy any more of them. That sounds pretty cool, though. I am intrigued. Nah, it's turtles all the way down, Mel. It is turtles all the way down. Ah, you're right. There's so many turtles. I assume there are aliens everywhere. I'm just walking through things I cannot process or sense. I'm a goblin because I can be. You are, and that's the crazy part about it, Gateway. The fact that you believe, and it's in fact not even believe, you just are a goblin, you know. And yes, no, you're a goblin. There's this whole faction within the Warhammer 40k universe, trolls, where if they believe something, and especially if they believe it as a collective, it's true. That's just how it works. So they literally hand out like branches. You know when you were a kid and you pick up a cool stick that like goes like this, and then it has like a handle part, and then you hold it and you're like, look at my stick gun. Yeah, you just cut a bunch of trees up, you make those stick guns, you hand them to the trolls. And to everyone that you hand this stick, you're like, this is a real gun. Look them in the eyes. This thing I'm giving you is a real gun. Don't point at one of your friends, dude. It will kill them. Point it at the people you want to kill, and then kill them with it. And then these trolls, they go out on the battlefield with these sticks, and then they shoot people. They kill whole platoons with their sticks. And then the platoons at least fight back, and they kill some of the trolls as well. And these people, you know, run to their generals, being like, dude, these trolls are slaying us. And they have like these freaking badass guns, dude. And the general is like, bring me one of their guns. And they bring them one of the guns. And it's a stick. It's a stick! Like, lore. Yes, you're a goblin. You're a goblin. Just as the stick is a gun. You just have to believe. You just have to believe hard enough. I just learned that there are jellyfish in Australia that are so small and transparent that they're basically invisible. But at the same time, just one can kill a person. Aren't those box jellyfish? That sounds about box jellyfish, yeah. It just slays you, dude. Doesn't want to be seen, and if you get to see it, it kills you for it. That's pretty bad. Researchers will get out constantly close to beaches, even if only find a few in the water. Probably to study it, maybe to like extract some of that venom and figure out how you can save someone for it. I am a goblin because I gob goop god. Oh yes. I feel like more than a goblin, you kind of give me, what do you call those? There's a whole faction within the Warhammer universe that are like, they just can't not have more. So more for everything, you know. And my friends jokingly say that if I exist in the Warhammer universe, I would be either one of those creatures. What do you, chaos commanders? No, man. Like the amount, like my homies, like I usually am just a bystander, an observer with these things. I'm not too into Warhammer myself, but the amount of passion that they talk with, and I just get to listen, I get to be like, yeah, this is cool. But these creatures, like it keeps feeling like I always have the name, but then it goes away. They basically have like extremely loud speakers inside of their helmets and outside of their helmets that just blasts music. you know, and they up the volume so loud that their ears start bleeding, and then after battle, they have their ears replaced, and then they do it all over again. Oh goodness, uh, we get to choose what we want to believe. So I feel, part of me sees that in you as well, Gob. Just the extreme badassness of that. Oh goodness, the Gob Goblin God. They are called Irukandi jellyfish. Ooh, Irukanji jellyfish. Maybe it isn't a box jellyfish. Maybe it's a new type of species that I even know about. The trolls believe that making a vehicle red makes them faster, so they paint them red and it works. Yes! That Space Marine stuff is crazy. Space Marine. I don't know if they're Space Marines, the ones I'm talking about, but it's like basically Space Marines, but worse. Space Marines that want to be like really, they really dig marining in space or whatever. Creeping Death Daniel. Creeping Death Daniel? I don't know what that is, Joy Beef. I'm so sorry. I would volunteer to refuel the nuclear reactor in the ship. You'll get melted. Mariah is like, I'm like, no, no, no melting for you, Mariah. No melting when you're actually gonna get straight up freaking nuclear reactor melted. Maybe he's gonna turn into a nuclear god, who wield nuclear, fuel with your hands. It was a reference to the jellyfish. Creeping Death Daniel jellyfish. Oh goodness, that's a little bit of a yikes. Because you're just like swimming in the ocean and you're feeling like a little squibbly squabbly on your foot. You don't even get to see the jellyfish probably. You swim a little bit longer and then I don't know how long it takes, but just like slowly sinking. Why is today's stream so brutal? Maybe within the recognition that there is everything instead of nothing, that there's gonna be bad stuff instead of no bad stuff. How about that? Yeah. There's gonna be Yasi Bobasi stuff. Wabi Go Gabi. Wabi Gabi Wobabi stuff in this universe. And yet we do make the most out of it. We're making everything out of it. Like you're actively doing that. Huh, puppy? Huh, puppy, son, Rooftouch? You wanna come and sit here with me? Yeah, come and give me some heat. Thank you, sweetie. Yo, that was the shortest winded lapsit I've ever experienced. I would carry my coffin on the back with pleasure. Such badasses, dude. Sure, 40k on PC is cool and all, but miniature constructions and dice chucking is where it's at, tabletop gang. Where you're at. I'm actually gonna have to agree. I feel like the natural progression of that is going to be the merging of the two as well, where you're going to be sculpting, creating characters within a VR space, and then you'll actually be able to have these legions walk as an actual general, hyping your legion up. Are you ready? Yeah. You wanna go and kill some noobs? Yeah. Let's go. Just get like really into it. Get all of that negative energy out of your being. Melt all of that stuff and then come back into the world. Love and lighting. That's the crazy thing about metalheads as well, is they dress so extreme. And I think about Lane gleefully in that way as well, where Lane is a straight metalhead. The dude makes metal even. Does his own growling. And yet the person is just like visceral beauty. Man's going to his second day of college today, probably. I googled baby chucks to combat the brutal baby chunks to combat the brutal energy. What is baby chunks? Oh goodness! You know what I'm gonna choose to see instead of seeing what I could be seeing? It's just that baby chunks is dog food for baby dogs. Small little chunks of meat, yes. Please. Bobby Kobabi. Thank you, Gobert. They're so cute. Baby chunks. Skunks. Oh goodness, there's something wrong with me. Gateway process. Baby skunks are cute, especially like with the size of their little tails. It's so proportionate. Baby stinks. I don't know if they stink when they're babies as well. You know, do their stink glands only develop when they're adults, or do they stink right from the get-go? We don't have skunks in South Africa. You mentioned Australia, and it made me think of how much crazier Australia really is. With the amount of stuff that wants to kill you, for example, you know, like the spiders in your boots and stuff. You do have like a bunch of creatures that we don't even remotely have, you know, like the kangaroos and stuff, you know, the koalas, the we have emus. We don't really, I'm not even gonna say it. I wanted to say it for a second, but I don't know. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna perpetuate old patterns. If people in Australia are either going to die off or evolve to be space marines, that's hilarious, dude. Probably. Speaking of Australia, sending love to our friend Turpillis, hoping he is well. Mm, I'm seeing. Okay, that's a bunch of interesting imageries. I saw at first what I thought was a Prince Rupert's drop, which is like liquid glass dropped into water that has like this tail, and it has like uh, potential basically stored in the form of tensile strength glass, with the outside hardens first and the warm inside still wants to expand, but the outside contracts in a cold way into it. And then it has like this whole tail end, which if you snap, the entire thing literally explodes. And I was like, Prince Rupert's drop. And then it got closer, and it kind of showed me this blue edge and then this fiery inside. And I was like, yeah, I guess that could be interpreted as a Prince Rupert's drop. And then it kind of zoomed in closer, and it just looked like it was the planet Earth, or at least a planet that represents Earth, looks Earth-like, is falling into some sort of atmosphere, having a trail almost like a Prince Rupert's drop, in a way burning as it's falling in. You know, very much alive on the edge side, burning on the background. So not burning because of the thing it's falling into, but almost like becoming healed, falling away from the thing that's burning it. Sending love to our beloved Turpillis. I'm sure he'll be back before we know it. It'll be now. Glass sperm. Glass sperm, dude, pretty much. The Australian koalas have a form of a chlamydia that is deadly to humans. Good to know. You know. Oh, damn it. Now I don't get to sleep with any koala. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I know about that, and it's like very contagious to them, to the point where I believe like almost the entire koala population has the chlamydia or something like that. Such a weird topic, but yeah, poor koalas. They just want love. Hopefully, we'll get probably help the animals too. Hey, brother Truth, love to you. It's nice to have you here, friend. Just got out of class. Hope you are feeling melty today. I'm feeling pretty melty. I feel a little bit wired. You know, like the fasting is definitely doing something to me. It's kind of cold as well, on top of that. But I feel good. I do feel pretty good. I feel present. I feel present. Maybe a little bit anxious. But it's not anxious, it's more alert. Alert. I think alert is a better word, actually. How about you, friend? How are you doing, Truth? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I was weird about that at first, but I researched it more and it makes sense. About the spirit animal thing? I'm guessing. I got a bumblebee for myself last time I pulled from a spirit animal deck. What deck do you have, Beans? Probably gonna be the one she's getting. Yush makes you sofa sofa. It's nice to have you. Minis are so mean. They bite like crazy too. Mini horses. Huh. Maybe there's like a small horse mentality thing happening there or something. So then what I ordered is called medicine cards. Hmm. And it was the same deck my mentor used with me. It sounds amazing, Maxine. Never saw a sofa so schmeckshy. Hey there. I love you, Jovan. It's an act of love when the female eats the male mantis. If she did not eat him, he would rot and die a slow death. The female does rot and die a slow death after she gives birth. And upon eating him, his body literally becomes the nutrients in part that builds her babies as well. I don't know if she already has the eggs and then he just fertilizes. You know what? I don't think it's important, but in some way, her eating him, serves the function of allowing these kids to be birthed. On top of the fact that he was the one that allowed those kids to be birthed. Double honoring. Love is true, even in that world. Maybe they're just more aware than we are. Maybe that mantis is just like so Zen mode 5000 where he knows there is no death. His awareness got to be this mantis, and now he's going to continue on to be something else. So he's like super Zen about getting eaten by his significant other. Who knows? Who are we to say? I've noticed that even though YouTube is clearer quality, it picks up the sound of the wind more intensely. With the Reddit I can hear so much more. Trade-offs, it's temporary. Hopefully eventually we won't have to choose between two bad extremes. It will just be choose what's good. That one already sounds better than mine, Beans. Excited for y'all to receive it. Mine artistically inspires me at most. The cards in the box are pretty. Hmm. Doesn't it feel like it has any significance within the words? Is that what you mean, Jovan? Like you feel you get more from looking at the card than you get from reading about what it says or something. They talk about praying mantis eating each other. Got me thinking about Rick and Morty. Dude, Rick and Morty season 6 is coming out in like less than a week, right? Yeah. I am looking forward to that. The new season looks sick. Yes, it does. Something a little bit more lighthearted with all of the seriousness we've been going through. Thanks, friend. I'm alright as baseline, I suppose. I hope you had a good class this morning. Thank you, Shannon. This is open to you, friend. I know you know that, but always feel free to say anything you need to. I can't stop thinking about baby skunks. I think I need a dog. You don't have a dog? What dog would you like to get? Are you a big dog or a small dog kind of person? I'm doing good. Classes aren't too bad so far. So I'm really feeling different vibes. I'd love to see all the beautiful faces without masks. Feels almost normal. That sounds amazing. Truth. Just the fact that you get to be, amongst other people. Get a rabbit gateway. That's a plan. Almost like a dog, but smaller. I guess in some ways could be less maintenance as well. Right? Isn't less maintenance, Shan? Is there more cleaning involved? From baby skunks to dogs, maybe a hamster to start. Rats live like 2 years, and you can train them to do better tricks, more tricks than dogs even, depending on what species you compare them to. We have some friends, I believe Naomi had rats. Hamsters usually need a ton of room and a ton of resources. Yeah, rodents. Gateway, gonna adopt a gassy pup. Rabbits. I love how there's like all of the different frequencies and fractals of what people consider the best pet to be. Rabbits are prey animals, constantly freaked out. I mean, like we have a wild rabbit that is like straight up walking up onto our yard and doesn't really fear Pippi, but runs away from Eva. And it's kind of like playing with them almost. So even though they might be prey animals, they can be pretty spicy, Joyvi. We lost both our dogs this year. Last month and in February, they were seniors. Whew. They got to live beautiful lives. That's what I saw in a moment, but I don't know how to describe it. Other than that, love to you. Gateway process. I'm sure getting a new popper is going to be blessed. Sorry for your lost Gateway. I lost one last year. Me and my dad actually had a conversation about this last night, about my dad mentioning, almost acknowledging that he had a hard time giving Pippi as much love as she deserved at first, because he was in a place of denial, or a place of not wanting to get attached again after all of the puppies that we lost. It was too hard for him, and he's come around, fortunately. Maintenance depends on the rabbit, I guess so. If it has a messy personality, you're probably going to be doing more. But needs a ton of care. They're very commonly let loose because people get tired of them. It's like, not, dude, please be free. Daniel, hamsters are tiny things. They live in tiny cages. You're maybe thinking of capybaras, or maybe guinea pigs. Guinea pigs also need a little bit of bigger cages. Get a fish. Fishes are also low maintenance, but you can't exactly cuddle fishes. Not guppies. They breed like crazy. Not all rabbits are like mine. My lady bun thinks she's one of the dogs. There we go. No, hamsters are tiny. It needs a ton of room. I'm a dog goblin. There we go. Me too. I'm also a little bit more of a dog person when it comes to all of the pets. I used to foster cats and kittens when I lived in New York City, but I need a doggo in my life. It's gonna be worth it. That energy, there's a certain type of person and a certain type of energy, and a dog gives that type of person that type of energy, and it's very beautiful. It's a union. I am a dog goblin. There we go. Absolutely. In the world, hamsters have huge territories. They often die of stress from not having enough room. Wow, Daniel. I mean, I don't know if any of us has, hamsters here, but it's good to know actually. I love hamsters as a kid, so I educated myself and had to come to terms that I could not provide one with what it needed. That's very mature of you, friend. Thank you for sharing with us as well, actually, Daniel. 1111. Tuning in with you. Beloved Shannon. Have a couple of fun classes as well, drawing studio and video production. Dude, doesn't that sound cool? Hope to make the most of my last year while also trying to relax and be melty in the now. Great. I hope I never get to that point, dude. If people really want to steal my intellectual property in order to share my message, I would be hard pressed to try and stop them. Even though I won't be directly profiting, the world in some way would be profiting. And if you believed in the space enough, it wouldn't be hard for you to support the individual directly. I'm like just tripping out, dude. That is a fractal that could be explored, experienced. So much love to you, True. Thank you. I see you too, friend. I got the boys two beta fish. It's pretty sweet. It's it's the first pet I ever had, you know, and it was a beautiful process to kind of like feed them, get new fish as well. We had like a biggish tank, so occasionally we get new fish. My favorite fish was the little sucker fish that would like up against the glass. I was just like so intrigued by the act of having fish, and then the act of having fish means that you have a tank. The act of having a tank and having fish in them means they poop in the water, means things want to grow on the side glass. And then, like, I knew all of these things about having fish, and then we went to this pet store, and I see this dude sucking on the side of the glass, and like I feel like there's this revelation coming over me, like this fish does the one thing that having fish makes suck. It cleans the cage, or cleans the thing they live in. And I was like, need one of these fish. And my dad got me one. I still have the joy. You're so cool, Mel. No humor. Most of the cute hamster behavior people make videos are just stress responses. A plant can be a good starter pet. I agree, actually. Grow a marijuana plant if you can, if you're allowed to, as your first pet. It'll be a beautiful process. I had fish and turtles as a kid and cleaned the tank. Cleaning the exactly right, Joy V. That sucked ass, so much ass. My grandma had turtles as well. We didn't ever have turtles ourselves, but I could always play with the turtles when we went to our grandma's place. Feed the turtles. This was pretty cool. Dogs have been pretty present though for most of my life. At least since I was 7, 8-ish. Dogs have been present. That one already sounds better than mine. Beats again, love. What box do you have? Not excited. The artwork, the medicine cards. Sounds beautiful. At work, so jumping in and out. I love jumping spiders, and we love you, Kayana. Even if you're here, even if you're not, we love you so much. Thank you for being here. You can tell that they look at you and they sense that you're thinking things over, almost calculating. It's so trippy that the one spider I'll hold. I've held tarantula spiders as well, but jumping spiders for some reason kind of give me the irks. You know, like that amount of contemplation. Like I feel like they would figure out how to kill me. You know, with wit or something. Melt and Spider convo has me cracking up. Love to you, Led. Thank you for being here for it. Triple four showing. I've been seeing so many triple fours and 44s. Like it's been a little bit staggering as of late, even. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. Everything is going as planned. No need to worry. Mm. We're here in the everything instead of being nowhere within the nothing. Hugs and shiny fruit to you. Thank you, Jumpin, for that, friend. So much love to you. Beans, I've got this Wild Unknown by Kim Kranz. It's a bit gimmicky for me, but the cards are pretty. Looking for a time, I come across a deck in the wild, like I used the bookstore or something. Maybe even trade your cards with someone. Maybe they've had their deck of cards for a while and they're looking for something to change it up as well. You know, if that is something that would float your boat. Hey, on B, thank you for the love, friend. How are you doing? How are the kids? How's Uncle Becky? How's the farm? Melt a wolf values space and freedom to roam, especially when they're hurting or working through something. That explains his distance. It does. It really does. Mm. I've never actually considered that with that much thought. Thank you, Lynn, for sharing that, actually, friend. Teaching me. On B, sending so much love to you. Narrow gauge bookstore. There we go. A place to actually get more cards. I wonder if the mantis helped inspire the Predator movie. The jaws are so similar. The jaws of it in jaws. That's like something in your brain, you know. It's just like nah. And there's creatures like that exist. You know, manta rays. No, not manta rays. Morays. Morays have jaws within their jaws. So we actually have creatures that have that anatomy. It's so crazy. Same place I got my crow deck. There we go. Forgot about the crow deck. I want to see all of them. Maybe you can even like do like streams where you pull cards. Like we have Guns N' Roses, right? Our beloved friend Guns N' Roses that streams on the Haywire Hill as well. That does tarot decks, and she has like a top-down view. Pulls cards with people. Is beautiful. Like maybe if you wanna pull some of those medicine cards or these crow deck cards as well, would be pretty cool, Maxine. I adore used and recycled bookstores. The one of the old hometown had chunk kitties there to pet while taking in the book smell. Goodness, like how can you not, you know, go there every single day? Like that is a hook if I've ever heard one. Crows are amazing. I keep trying to make friends with them, so they bring me treats and make an alliance with me. You've read that article as well, where the daughter basically as a little girl would drop stuff every single time she went outside, and the crows would pick the things up, and then she eventually made a habit of it to officially feed them, and the crows would leave her trinkets, you know, gifts for the things that she gives them. Please, Maxine, keep pursuing that infinity. I would love that for you. That sounds so beautiful. I would die on the spot if I was ever represented with a gift from a crow. You can have that too, Kayana. Start gifting them things. You know, it might take a while, but they talk amongst themselves. They'll be like, "There's this freaking badass witch, dude. She's feeding us and stuff." They'll bring you stuff too, eventually at least. I would, I like how Peppy just chills indifferently on his lap while Melt headbangs. He's just like, yeah, ridiculousness again. Oh, what's it this time? Oh, not more nonsense. Booper, it is Shinuta. So much love. Today's stream is fire. It's been so beautiful. I always love being here in these moments with you, friend. Evil cackle. It makes many times in my mind why there is something. It comes many times in my mind why there is something rather than nothing. Have you found an answer, environmental bat? We're asking each other today in this stream. You have emus? We do. The baby emus are so damn cute. They weird dance, yeah, makes my heart so full. Especially if you give them one of these little ball toys with a little fairy thing, and they're just like, whoa, 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 wow, what's that? Man, I missed a bunch of them. Oh, there we go. I had aquatic frogs that lived for 10 years. That's so cool. Aquatic frogs. Were they colorful? What did they look like? Were they big? Were they small? I'm so curious, Gateway. That sounds like just a beautiful experience. I wonder how they experience time in their terrariums. The way that I think about it is just from a space of comfort, where animals will stay where they're comfortable, pretty much indefinitely. The only reason that creatures move in nature is if the space that they're in ceases to be comfortable. So I feel they're just in the now, in the same way that we are. Like I could consider myself in a terrarium, only my terrarium's outside cage, glass, is my atmosphere. And my terrarium's walking ground is the surface of the earth. And if I wanted to compare the amount of space I have in comparison to the amount of space there is in infinity, I could convince myself that I was somehow being done an injustice to be put in this cage. Oh, how dare you put me in this earth-sized cage? But no, our earth-sized cage is pretty big, and I know it's not apples to apples. I'm completely agree, Gob, but it's what we make of it. We can convince ourselves that we're trapped. We can convince ourselves that we're limited in this moment. But I feel animals have a little bit more zen than we do, almost in certain ways, to actually be chill with whatever is. Almost freaking knocked all my stuff over. You got a drawing idea in mind, Mr. Melchmore. I'm seeing what looks like a scepter. Looks like a scepter that has all of these textures made out of crystal being held up by a sort of basin, extending down into a hilt, kind of stuck onto a board, almost like it was put up for display, but it has a backstory that nobody knows about. Pretty basic, but can be curious, can be, imaginatively inspiring. There's a cool video online about a lady making friends with a huge group of magpies. People do that, dude. Like, it's something to actually explore. They were African clawed frogs, grayish green. I bought them at less than an inch long, very tiny, and then eventually grew to over 8 inches long. 8 inches. 8. That's like 20 centimeters, right? Something like that. 20 centimeters. That's like that big of a frog. What? Aquatic frogs. Like, how big was your cage for them? Or the enclosure, the terrarium? What's up with the moon mission? I don't know at all, actually, Daniel, to be honest. I bet the flat earthers are going crazy about the moon mission. Dude, I'm honestly sure the flat earthers are just memeing, dude. Like, I don't know that they believe what they believe. I hope they don't. Did they like being held, Gateway? I mean, if you had them for that long, they must be pretty conditioned to it almost. My life would be complete with an emo companion to dance with. Wow! Crazy dance like. Ryan, it's nice to have you here with the bear. Sending you so much love. Melty, can you share with us a moment what you experienced that was so profound that helped lead you down your spiritual path? Suicide. To be completely honest, Maxine. So I don't know if that is necessarily something to be encouraged or talked about in context of the question you're asking, because it sounds like a good thing. Give us your experience, the moment that led you down your spiritual path. And that sounds great, as like medicine or as encouragement, but it came for me after trying to take my own life, failing. And within the act of taking my own life, there was like a moment of realizing that, oh shit, what have I done? And then upon asking myself that question, it shows me. It's like, you killed yourself, fam. Look at this. Now you're gonna have to do all of this shit and then all of that shit. And then so and so. And then you're gonna have to be reborn as this version of yourself. And then you're gonna have to do all of this shit again. And then you're gonna have to not commit suicide now. So that you can do what you were supposed to do, stupid. And I was like, excuse me, what? And then I didn't die. And I was like, oh, shit. We're supposed to do something here. All of us. And it shook me. It really shook me. It kind of snuffed the nihilism out of me. Where it was like, oh yeah, you think nothing matters? Oh yeah, stupid. How about you're gonna have to spend an infinity coming back to this moment so that you can not make the mistake you're making? Think nothing matters, stupid. Yeah. that was what it was for me, and now I'm just doing that, like sharing that message that you matter. You matter as much as the everything. That the everything will redo itself to redo you if you cease being. Literally. It was a little bit jarring, Maxine. But it was what I needed to see, apparently. I needed to almost die so that I can really live. But I tend to be extreme like that. So it's definitely not something that I recommend. If anything, I recommend you meditate. Practice dying. Practice being dead. In some cultures, that's what meditation is. It's you practicing for death. That calm state, that awareness, that non-attachment. Yeah, I could handle them. I started feeding them fish. Yummy. They were extremely loud with their mating calls. They were just like, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? I don't know what sounds they make, but that's what I'm thinking of, like frogs calling each other out. Thank goodness you didn't succeed. Thank goodness indeed. Thank you, Random Z. So much love to you, friend. It wasn't what was right, and I feel like I could have still committed to it if I wanted to. But it wasn't what was necessary. It wasn't the everything that should have been. It is the everything that could have been, but not the everything that should have been. Artemis 1 has set an unmanned launch to get the moon back to a test out new system. Most people who want to die don't really want to die. They just want the pain to end, and death ends up looking like the only way out. Yep, unironically, that is exactly why people think they want to die. But killing yourself doesn't make the pain end. It just takes away the possibility for the pain to end. It's like the pain is directly tangential. It's running in parallel with you being alive. So sure, the pain could go away as a function of you no longer being alive, but the pain can also not go away because you can also not unalive yourself. you know? So it's like a little bit of a juxtaposition. I'm popping in and out. Great to see you. It's always nice to have you. Even Eden is popping in for a bit. So much love to you, little fruit cup. Our beloved Ninja Nanners as well. I'm more of a cat person than anything, but this needy little goat is something awesome. She thinks she's a cat, plays with them, tries to eat their food, and even uses the litter box a few times. Goodness. She completely imprinted. She was like, yes. Like, I see all of these goats being goats, and then I see of these cats catting, and I've made my decision. I know what I want. Little divine being, you know. No audio, anyone else? You might be muted, friend. Like, I don't think I've seen your username before, so you might be new. Like, do check if you're muted in the little bottom of the corner. You might have been a help before. But, yo, it's kind of cold, actually. Let's see if I can do this. Man, took some of my marriage awareness with it. Babylon stocking. I'm gonna have to get creative. Yeah. I like how it comes with Einstein hair as well. Let's embrace it. Let's go full Einstein. Yow! Skip-ow! Skip-ow! Get a little angry. Yeah. You angry here? Here we angry now. Lots of ear boogers. What? I had to clean my ears out to hear them. Lots of ear boogers. Thank you, God, for the encouragement, dude. I've always been curious about going to one of those doctors where they use like saline, warm saline to wash your ears out. Part of me kind of feels like it could be nice, you know. Part of me feels like it's some sort of horror. You like that? You like that? Thank you for being there for yourself at your lowest melt. I feel that at our lowest, we are susceptible to the most change. Much love to the infinite change. Taking shrooms saved me for sure. Yo, that was the first time, even though I realized that I wasn't supposed to die, I wasn't happy about it. I felt like I was a victim, you know. Even though I couldn't die, I wanted to, and the fact that I couldn't sucked so much, you know. And then I had a shroom experience, and for the first time ever, I was just so deeply entrenched in this feeling of, I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm so grateful to be alive, and I was just like in that loop, and it felt deeper and deeper every single time I resonated with it. Thank you, friend, for letting yourself have that experience as well. What's the symbol on your bong? This is a Merkaba. This is the yin and yang. These are phases of the moon. This is the Om symbol. This is the peace symbol. This is the Ouroboros, the self-eating, ever-infinite snake. This is the wheel within Buddhism. This is the atom, you know, making up you right now. The eye of Horus, which is a cross-section of the brain. If you look at the cross-section of the brain, you can see this little spot within which the pineal gland finds itself. And then there is... Did I miss the little Jesus fish? I did. Jesus fish as well. Christ consciousness. All of it encapsulated within a tree of life. None of it is separate. The fact that we tell ourselves that we are, yeah, I'm Buddhist, so I believe in the wheel, right? And all of your shit is whack. Oh, right, I'm Christian. I believe in Jesus. And this is because I'm right. And, you know, all of it is within this infinity. It is the everything, instead of it being nothing. And every single time we do this, we come around, we figure things out for ourselves, we evolve as a species, we start to rewrite everything. We recreate ourselves, we recreate the things that we believe in. And then in doing so, we inevitably create a whole new system. And then there's a whole new paradigm. We are this, and you are that. And I don't know how we're supposed to escape that cycle. I feel The interconnectivity that the internet will allow going into the future maybe will help, but who knows? Maybe we will just find more deliberate and synchronous niche communities and won't consolidate into a global single, united community as humanity, but will be factions. We will have Borgs and naturalists, and at least we're trying to, unite in the ways that we can in these moments. I don't even know if the Reddit is working right now. It might drop. Cavendish, it's nice to have you. Can we get a close up of your necklace pendant? Sure. I don't know whatever I want to get that much closer. That should be close enough for you to see. It's a pretty interesting crystal. It's called coral quartz. It grows like a coral on a substrate, like quartz. Well, as quartz, like coral. We are good, Melt. Busy, but good. I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you for saying what's true, for saying something I want to believe. I appreciate that so much. Guns and Lipstick. Thank you. Thank you so much. For some reason, my mind went straight to Guns N' Roses, and I was like, no, that's a band. But I could still see her so clearly in my mind's eye. So I was like, yeah, that's who I'm referring to. I remember him saying it was broken and he had to mold a new neck piece. Yep. This piece was made by me. This piece was made by Mother Nature. The piece that used to hold it was made by a person who is now no longer on this planet. He was this super old hippie dude, always like traveling with wherever the Cytron scene was, and he would like have a little crystal stand and he would sell his crystals, and it was quite something. Krampus here. Krampus. Love to you. I believe Krampus is like the Christmas demon or something like that in some culture. Love to you, friend. Beans. I know guns. IRL. And the way that she reads birth charts is incredible. Highly recommend. She's in tune, like to the T. You would love it, Maxine. My dad receives gifts from the crows. They left him a small green apple, pop can tabs, a piece of shiny wrapper, and he feeds all the critters. There we go. We already have someone within our community that has that fractal. That's just the fact that we have two friends that want that for themselves, having heard that this is something that's possible, and then having a friend, by relation that actually has that experience. Half of them cool. He is truly blessed. We are all so blessed. Maxine, you can have that too. Carried along with you. I miss watching her. She'll be back soon, I'm sure. Just saw the booper. The neighbors hate him because he draws all the skunks and raccoons and birds and pigeons and squirrels, etc. to the neighborhood. I love it. Yeah. Like the fact that people want to live in such a sterile and clinical and environmentless, space is worrisome sometimes. It makes sense from some perspective, I guess, but having some critters around truly makes an experience so much more worth why can't I words right now? Worth having. Just it makes an experience worth having, especially when it comes to meditation for me. Like if I go out meditating and I sit down and I see two birds playfully chasing one another, having that in my environment instead of just sterile nothingness is going to be an exponential upgrade every single time. Every single time. And having more of that. I guess that at some point it hits a threshold, you know. But then again, we're faced with, instead of it being bad, we're talking about having balance. Having that balance. Thank you for being here, for yourself, Euros. Again, thank you, friend. Thank you so much. Melt. It's like the aliens guy meme from this. Aliens. I'm telling you, friends. Aliens. So many of the aliens. Aliens are speaking to me now. Some people are like, now you have to pay me $50. because the aliens did the thing. The aliens are telling me that you should be paying me $50. Right? And then like people are like, yeah, you know what? The aliens did say that I have to pay them $50, so I guess I have to. Well, I mean, the aliens, they speak through this person, and they have like infinite space, and yet they're speaking to me now, telling me to give him $50. Like I'm just like literally viscerally thinking about the fact that there are successful creators, and I guess to some people they want that to be the reality, that channel aliens and then have the aliens speaking to people, and I feel like the thing that offends me, or that the reason I might be a little bit spicy in my opinioning about it, is because again it's separation. It's you pretending that you're not that you're not the alien speaking through yourself. Just say that. Say there is this self, right, that you consider yourself. And then there is a self within some sort of alien world that in the same way considers it itself, right? But it happens to speak a different language, happens to be on a different planet, happens to have a different interpretation of reality, happens to speak right? And it does all of that. It just, wished you a happy day, and infinite blessings in its language. Like, what were we to say? And now you just make random sounds, and you happen to be that alien somewhere within infinity. That would make more sense to me. But to charge people to channel aliens for them, like, how does that happen? Especially since I see so many of you beloved creative friends that are on your way to making careers, being creative individuals, making works of art, and yet it's possible to make a career pretending to be, or pretending to channel aliens. Man, I feel like I'm calling myself out as well. Yes, reflect. Look yourself in the soul. I missed watching her. Thank you again for the love. Often at the lowest, are we free enough to create the most change? I definitely feel getting shook. Sometimes you need to be, kind of need to grab yourself by the collar and be like, hey dude, what are you telling yourself? It's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. It's only after everything else is melted away that you realize you still are. That you never have not been. And that you will continue to be no matter what that looks like. So you might as well be happy now. That if there is everything, that there is literally everything, do you believe that what you have right now is better or worse than what could be within everything? And we all know that there is some pretty yikes things going on in the world. Pretty horrifying experiences. And the fact that we're not actively currently experiencing that doesn't make those experiences any less valid or any less happening, but it does make your current experience almost like a responsibility where you have to make the most of it. You have to be as present, you have to be as loving, you have to be as grateful as you can possibly be, because you have so much within the everything. You have everything. You have everything. And you're like, oh, Mel, I don't have this thing. I'm like, okay. Okay. Oh, might be naive. I'm more than willing to admit that. I want things as well. I want to be able to create more. I want to be able to afford more. But within infinite possibility, what we have right now is so much. It's an infinity in itself. I love you, friend, so much. Flower remedies have helped me the most. You have been doing them before you came into the space as well, right? Oh God. I love trying to imagine what it may be like to not exist. I remember doing it for years, every night as a kid. It would be to the point of throwing up, but now I like the weird feeling it gives me. Memento Mori. It's a good practice. Melt say ancient astronaut theorist. Mel, people pay good money for curls like that. You know what you did to me just now? I remember when I was 19, having my hair cut and asking that as a question. You know, asking people, what does it cost people to style their hair curled when they come to you as a client? And then thinking about it from the perspective of, yeah, I am inadvertently saving myself thousands of dollars by having genetically curled hair. Yeah, stonks. So much money I'm making every day just by being myself. Sick. I'm banking deep. It's the same way where where people would pay money to have curls like that, but they wouldn't pay you the money to have your curls. Or maybe they would. People want what they don't have, Lindsay. There we go. Exactly. Being happy with what is the best way to be happy with what is. Imagine that. I would always be the kid that would say, doesn't matter, we're all gonna die anyway. I always, yeah, me too. Not just by the way, I always had like a nothing mattered when I was an atheist. Same, like everything we have will be taken away. Yeah, you know, like rotting. You know, like just when you die, you turn into food for something else. And I was like, that's reality, you know. And I couldn't look past the good I could do now. I couldn't look past the amount of influence, the amount of impact I could make of my livingness in the world. Instead, I was more obsessed by the fact that it would mean nothing because I'm gonna die. And it was so nihilistic. It wasn't beneficial at all. I'm going to try and reboot this stream a little bit. You know, I'm gonna be back in a second, see if it works. There we go. There we go, there we go. I think now I can see the recent comments. Jeff is joining us. Dude! So much love to you. So cool to have you here, brother Jeff. How are you doing, man? Fire alteration floating on. Love to you, man. I love you so much too, brother Bear. Okay. Think I'm seeing where I was. Okay. Yeah. Skill building. Beast ya be. I like that actually. Just got out of video production. I'm loving the vibes, the semester. Dude, it sounds like you're learning stuff that you'll actually use. Makes me so happy to hear that. It's homecoming week, and in Texas, they celebrate every day of the week for it. The kids have fun. I'm sure they do. So much love to them all. So much love to you, friend. I hope that it's not too hard on you. True, Daniel. I'm okay with the stick, straight hair. It's just in awe of those ringlets. I kind of think of them as little fractals as well, you know, like the universe tweaking different genetic little expressions in my body, and then these freaking weird little carbon tubes extrude out of my scalp. You know? And I just have to like manage it basically. It's like a full-time job. Not really, not a full-time job, but it is something you have to be conscientious of. I would kill to have straight hair. My entangles are, yes, exactly. That's literally what my mind was going through, Daniel. Like having to, you know, like engineer knots out of your hair, and then getting so frustrated at the point where you just like hold on to it and you just rip the knots out. Like it's just not a vibe. Straight up not a vibe. And then people are like, oh, girls. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. I just bust my head now. Daniel is just like, in fact, can't deal with it. I've thought about it. Unironically, more now than ever, I've thought about it as well. I'm glad I had the opportunity to see my true self. You will continue to. Like what you'll see going forward into the future will be your true self because that's what you're looking for, friend. Not gonna lie, sometimes I feel like going all in on the flat Earth thing, to milk them for all they have. People live in different realities, some more different than others. Man, I'm seeing how good AI is getting at making art, and it makes me feel that humans will be replacing the art world. No, Daniel. uh, People animating, people drawing things with their hands will be replaced, but people won't be replaced because the perfect union or the perfect thing within AI is the union between humans and AI. I have 5% battery left. I'm gonna pull a card quick so you friends can see as well. This is the one. Uh, this is technically the one I was pulling on. I'm gonna put you back. You can speak later. Yo, we've pulled this card so many times. It's like the fourth time over the last almost 2 months or something. Purification, meditation. Oh, 4% left. Okay, I'm just gonna like sprint. I'm gonna do like a speed run of reading this card so that we can actually hear what it says. If it dies while I'm reading, know that I love you and that I appreciate you so much. This card's theme is purification and forgiveness. Purification. Getting that yellow snake out, that white snake out. What did I go for yellow? White snake out. The geometry of the golden spiral hearts encourage you to meditate and purify your consciousness. These hearts embrace the energy of love, both within the core being of the figure and expanding beyond into radiant universal love. She sits in meditation, willing to forgive herself and all beings, ready to purify her intention to live a life of compassion and integrity. Flames consume and burn away all that does not serve the most loving, kind, and compassionate true self. The blue flames which melts away ego. The card encourages you to purify your thoughts and look to your heart for guidance and support. All paradigm thinking and prejudice reactions have a way of leading to feelings of guilt, gloom, and confusion. Is there an obstacle to your spiritual growth that has caused you concern of late? Is self-criticism impeding your path to true essence? Forgive yourself and see all notions of unworthiness and shame being burned away in this transformative fire of purification. Forgive your loved ones, neighbors, politicians, and all beings for the things that they have done or said that do not benefit the greater good. Let the blue flames melt away ego and reveal self-esteem and self-respect. The universe supports your growth and purification. The universe supports your growth and purification. Forgive your politicians, neighbors, and enemies for things that they did or said that does not serve the greater good. Bippy knocked over my grinder and spilled my weed all over the floor. She surely didn't know what she was doing, so all I can do is forgive her. Oh, sweetie girl, your oblivious little face gives me hope, actually. Ooh. Ooh! That's double ooh. Forgiveness is forgiveness of oneself, forever allowing the delusion to settle into one's mind. What a trip. I don't think we've read that one once in stream or something. Forgiveness, when completed, is the establishment of love. Forgiveness is forgiveness of oneself, forever allowing the delusion to settle into one's own mind. The practice of forgiveness is the whole of spirituality. Why? Because forgiveness means to let the world off the hook, to release any sense of victim consciousness, and then finally, to forgive oneself for not doing it in the first place. Wow. That suddenly took a turn for me too. Meh. Seems AI is getting alright now. Melt. There are very yikes things going on. There are, and yet we're creating beauty. We're creating forgiveness in this moment for ourselves and for the yikes things going on, regardless. Or at least the art world will become oversaturated with AI art, making human art basically worthless, or making human art basically infinitely valued. Think about it. The way that markets work is things that are in a rare occurrence, rare abundance, have the most value, and the things that are common, saturated, have the least value. So, if you really think about it, human artists, people that can make art just with their hands, are going to become more valuable. Paintings by hands are going to become more valuable than prints, you know, and I'm calling myself out on that as well because I'm probably going to go harder into digital than I will into the physical, just from a place of sustainability, you know, going into the future. But it is what it is, dude. Car time. And very yikes people, we're forgiving them too. Forgiving them too, Lindsay. It's okay. It sounds like a conundrum, Melty. All of it is. Makes art because you love it all. Because you love it. All we do to do. All we. Oh, sorry. All we have to do is be happy. Is to do what we desire to do. All we have to do is do what makes us happy. You know? Find what you love and then do that. Show up for it at least once a day. You know, and you can show up, you can find what you love and show up for it every day, even if you have a family, even if you are working a job. You can do it in 5 minutes. You can sit down for that thing you want to do and just think about it. And in doing only that, you will still be growing the fractal until you can completely realize what it is you want to create. I've started the flower remedies almost a year ago now. I believe they helped lead me here. Whew, help balance you enough to find this space, you know, to triple tapple in here. Melty, I adore you. Thank you for bringing laughter and light into my day. Thank you, Lindsay, for choosing to be here so you can receive that, friend. We've made, sometimes I wonder if it's a good idea to get emotionally attached to people if I only, you know, in line. Daniel, you get to do whatever you want to, friend. And whatever you do is going to be your truth. So if you want to live a truth where you are unattached to people, then that can be your truth. If you want to live a truth where you are attached to people, then that can be your truth. You're actively telling yourself that story, realizing that you can never be not attached. You can never be separate, if you will. Makes you realize that the attachment that there is this moment. That this moment is no more than a thought away. You can think back to this moment, and there it is, still there. It happened. Here it is, happening. You can never unattach yourself. Sorry, here you are. Here we both are. We can never unattach ourselves from that friend. We've made to be attached. There we go, Joy V, also in the same fractal as I am. We've been made to be attached to each other. I don't think it matters much if we're online or in real life. I agree, Joy V. It feels like it just satisfied my urge to connect while not delivering what I really need. What do you really need, Daniel? What do you really need? That's a good question to ask. That's the one. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Shan. We're social beings. It's natural to be attached, but important to find balance within that. I couldn't agree more. What is it you really need, Daniel? Good question. Rude Peppy. Okay, bye. Cheers, cheers, Daniel. Love to you, friend. We have everything. You know, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful because I feel it's almost like this genuine representation of humanity. Of we think we need something. We believe we need something, not realizing we have everything. You have everything. It's a little bit bonkers, you know. And regardless, almost even on top of that everything, we're giving ourselves moments of connection, literally separated by thousands of miles, and yet connected in this moment. Within a world where we all have like almost a personally catered informational stream coming into our brains, you know, TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram algorithms, making sure you get to see what exactly what you like to see. And it's this feedback loop of this is your infinity, this is your infinity, this is your infinity. And your infinity is beautiful and your infinity is valid. But the fact that we get to merge those infinities, we get to share our infinities with one another in a space like this, what more do you need? What more is there to have? Like really. Like I'm really trying to think about it. Intimacy, I guess, is what he means, you know. He wants someone to sit across from him and listen to him while he says what he needs to say. I understand that too, but it doesn't elude him. Not like it eludes any of us. We get to have that if we wanted. We can reach out to people. Uh, Condemnation against ourselves or others is a trace of condemnation against the universal creation of love and restricts us, limits our power to allow the universal love to flow through to others. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much, Shan. We are both trapped here in the present, friends. Let's have a good time with it. Exactly. You know, trapped. Oh no, I can't escape my planet's atmosphere just with my body alone. Oh, I'm so stuck. No, you're here, friend. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Have a magnificent day, friends. I love you all so very, very dearly. Melt and all you beautiful friends, as we love you. Beloved Shan. So many friends in this space with us right now. Love you, Gateway Process. Love you, friends. So much love to you. There is, like if you see me keep staring up, there is like a little, and then there we go. I'm looking at that. Dude, look at that cirkelman, as we say in Afrikaans. Cirkelman. This feels like like flash cutting. Chung, 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 chung. I'm so sorry. Some of you friends might know that meme. Some of you friends got super irritated by me. So much love to both of you either way. Thank you for joining me. It's always such a pleasure seeing you. I hope to see you again soon. Probably tomorrow, plus minus an hour from now. Looks like yes, yes. Looks like a clipped toenail. Oh, that one? I guess. Hmm. That is. I'm trying to imagine the being that that piece of clipped toenail would come off of. You know, that being would be quite something. Some sort of Galactus planet eater. No, actually, no. He wouldn't be big enough. Maybe if he had like some sort of matter condenser, you know, he could just like suck the matter off of the planet and then condense it into his chest piece or something, or his face. Maybe then he would still be able to eat. I'm diving too deep into it. Thank you for turning some dials on my brain. I love you, friends, so much. Have an amazing day. Go and share your love of others. Turn dials on the universe that will elicit, or at least try to elicit, something good. I know you can make something out of this everything. I love you. I'll see you again.